Senator Elizabeth Warren has seemingly jumped on the Mamdani train, and I am all for it. I have had my issues with Elizabeth Warren in the past. She has been kind of part of the, I guess you would say, professional managerial class, and the fact that she did screw Bernie over in 2020, but at the same time, you play with the politics you've got, and I am not here to hold any grudges. And this old guard of progressives like Warren, like Sanders, they realize they're getting a little long in the tooth, and they're trying to pass off the mantle to younger people. Bernie is doing it with AOC, and it seems like Elizabeth Warren is trying to do it with Zohran Mamdani, and I think it is a very good thing. Recently, she appeared with him in a press conference, and she has some pretty good stuff to say. Let's see what she's got to say. And by the way, Fox News, New York Post, everybody is up in arms about it. We're going to get to a couple of them. The wealthy and the defenders of the wealthy are squealing like banshees over this stuff. So let's hear what she's got to say.
With 1 in 4 New Yorkers living in poverty. And what New Yorkers showed by a record margin in a Democratic primary was that they wanted a vision of this city that would make it affordable for each and every New Yorker. And I look at this field as I looked at that field. An opportunity once again to make the case as the Democratic nominee for how we are going to make this a living, breathing testament to what's possible for working people, as opposed to a museum of what once was.
Senator.
Yeah, Henry, sorry.
Yeah. Hey, Zohran, Senator. Hey, back here. Sorry. I have an on-topic question. How about that? I was talking to a mom, $25,000 a year for childcare, roughly $2,200 a month. They say it's more than their mortgage in Central Brooklyn. They want to expand their family, but at this point just really can't because their dual income level is, at a level where they don't get that sort of low income help. So there's help available there. What is your vision, Zohran, for middle-income families that want to stay here, that want to thrive here, but just can't afford the city? How would you change things in city government for that sort of family?
That is a very good question. $25,000 a year for childcare. It is obscene how much money that is. I'm not saying that the childcare is not worth that amount of money. I'm sure that the people that do childcare the proper way have all of the education and, of course, have all of the things necessary to make sure that your child is well educated and cared for. So, but as far as the amount of money that people have to spend on childcare, it's not even remotely close. People do not have that kind of money. $25,000 a year. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that people used to spend on rent, and now they're literally spending it on having their child cared for while they bust their ass at their jobs to pay for the child care. So anyway, let's see what they got to say.
The mark of excellent public goods are those that everyone in New York City will use. And
I kind of wanted to get to what Elizabeth had to say.
This story that you shared with me, I wish it was the...
So I listened to what the mayor says about police officers and the importance of people who are hired by the city, who are required to live in the city. And it seems to me, but I'm the outsider here, but it seems to me that affordability is an important part of understanding public safety.
Well, there's one thing that a lot of people don't seem to understand. A lot of the police officers and firefighters, they work in the city, but they live outside of the city. So the money that they get paid by the city goes and gets spent outside of the city. Thereby, all those tax dollars go to their local area, and it increases the budget for their schools, and they have, I'm not knocking them having nice neighborhoods for their kids to grow up in and good schools for their kids to have. But when you are earning your money in the city and that city money is going outside of the city, that is not good for New York City. Before Mayor Giuliani allowed it to become more prevalent, if you wanted to be a cop in the city, you literally had to live in the 5 boroughs to be a cop in the 5 boroughs. And after he got rid of that rule, everybody started moving out of town. And also when it comes to like policing, if you live outside of the city and then you come into the city to work, the people in the city, those are the people you police. The people outside of the city, those are my neighbors. So if you actually live in the 5 boroughs as a police officer, everybody around you is your neighbor. It kind of changes your perspective. Anyway, a little off topic, but I think it's an important point.
Who can work in the public sector in New York? Universal childcare is part of having the workers who keep this city going, having an opportunity to actually work here, live here, and know that they can afford the housing, they can afford groceries, and that they can afford the child care that keeps them on the job. You know, I just want to keep reminding everyone, the data show us over and over and over that the lack of child care keeps a whole lot of mamas and a fair number of daddies out of the workforce. Every place where you want more people to be able to work in the work they want to do means you need child care available. Ask your small business owners, how hard is it to hire? And what many of them will say is, I can hire more people, except folks can't get the child care they need, or they've got to pay $25,000 per child for it and simply can't afford to work here. So I see this in terms of a workforce that functions for New York City.
Look, another thing, things seem impossible until they're actually done. Everybody said that universal pre-K was absolutely impossible, including our disgraced ex-governor Andrew Cuomo, who fought tooth and nail against de Blasio to get that done. And then when he got it done, de Blasio, not Cuomo, de Blasio, when he got that done, it is universally loved. People, parents of children love universal pre-K. So when I hear people say, oh, that's impossible, we can't afford to do it, and then all of a sudden you're doing it, it seems a lot less impossible. Anyway, Elizabeth Warren also went on to CNBC, where the money guys are there clutching their pearls and defending all of the billionaire class. And they are not really happy about Zohran. He's not even mayor yet, but they're already losing their mind. And Elizabeth Warren is there to give them a little bit of a what for. This is her wheelhouse. This is Elizabeth Warren's wheelhouse, being able to talk to executives and to defenders of the wealthy and kind of giving them a reality check.
Issue is affordability. Do you know how many working families are chased out of New York City every day because they can't afford housing, they can't afford groceries, they can't afford child care? What Zohran is saying is, I want people to be able to afford to live in New York City. That's what keeps it a vibrant city. That's what makes people want to live
Nobody
here.
disagrees with that, Senator, but raising taxes in order to do it? Why is that the answer?
Oh, dear, are you worried?
Honey, because the taxes keep getting cut for the wealthy, and our social safety net keeps plummeting and going downhill. He's sitting there going, why raise taxes? Why raise taxes? Honey, we have not raised taxes on the wealthy in generations. We have been cutting taxes for the wealthy since like the mid fucking 70s. I don't know where this guy gets his ideas from, but he seems to be under the impression that, oh my God, the wealthy are just so oppressed while he sits there in a $2,000 suit.
That billionaires are going to go hungry?
No, I'm worried that they're going to leave and spend their money elsewhere.
You know, they've threatened to do that over and over and over.
And they have. They've left.
But here's
No, well, a handful of them have decided to spend 6 months and 1 day in Florida so they can avoid paying taxes, but they come back up here to spend their money. And the reason why they don't leave is because it is New York City. It is the cultural, financial, and hub of art and wonder of this country. The reason why people live in New York City is because it's the cutting edge of everything. It just is. And the idea that they're all going to be moving to Dallas or to, because he talks about Goldman Sachs in a second, moving out to Dallas or to Florida, thinking that, you know, they're going to trade in their Morton Steakhouse for Joe's Crab Shack, you know, just outside of Miami. you know, that talk about pie in the sky bullshit.
And Goldman Sachs, when they create new jobs, they do it in Dallas. And Blackstone won't build a new headquarters. And go on and on.
All right, first of all, I'm not going to glaze over the Blackstone thing because, for God's sakes, the defender of Blackstone, seriously, the company who has built a monopoly of buying up large swaths of single-family homes, so starter families cannot buy a home anymore, cannot have the American dream and grow their equity. They have to now rent from Blackstone and BlackRock. This guy right here defending Blackstone. But as far as Goldman Sachs goes, when's the last time a family from Wisconsin, you know, took a trip into the city, you know, to be tourists, and, you know, the father says to the son, let's go window shopping for a financial advisor, son. Yeah, Dad, that sounds like fun. Let's go over to Goldman Sachs and see what kind of portfolio we can work up. Oh, give me a fucking break, man. Really, give me a break.
You want to have a workable city? You want to have a city that's vibrant? You want to have a city where the streets are full, where there are things for sale 24 hours a day? Then you need people.
Oh, and by the way, speaking of tourists, tourism is down big time. A lot of the international tourists that usually come here, they're not coming here so much this summer, and it's pretty obvious.
Live here and work
Well, we've
here.
got that right now, by the way. I would
do
point
not.
out New York is thriving. So
It's thriving, but it's not thriving. It's crime-ridden, but it's awesome. It's amazing. Which is it? These guys talk on both sides of their fucking mouth. I swear to God.
right now it's doing pretty well, actually.
I'm glad you think they're doing well because a lot of people are struggling to pay for housing.
Yeah, and me included. Rent is going up, dog. It's going up. The national average for the rent increase across the country is about 3%. I'm not saying that there's not places and cases where the rent has gone up more than that. It has. But the national average, New York's average of a rent increase is 7.5%. It's more than double the national average. So yeah, man, people in New York are feeling the pinch. And what this guy is, I guess he's aiming for, is that all of the people that clean the hotels and fold the clothes in the clothing stores and come in to take care of your spoiled, rotten little rich kid, and all of the services that are required to run a city, fire department, sanitation, police department, they can all live way the fuck out in East Brooklyn or in New Jersey, and they can commute into the city, spending 2, 3, 4 hours every day, just not getting paid, just commuting to the job. And that's okay with him because he's here to defend Blackstone. He's here to defend Goldman Sachs so they won't take their billions and go elsewhere to Dallas. They're going to have to pay taxes somewhere, man.
A lot of people are struggling to pay for groceries, and I got to tell you, mamas and daddies who are facing $25,000 a year to pay for childcare.
Those are national issues. I mean, I know they are the local state, but you can't. Yes, but if you deal with them in that way, by what is always your.
All right, so it's a local issue, yet it's a national issue. Which one is it? And by the way, the thing that they're squealing about is a 2% raise in their taxes, over $1 million a year. So if you make $1 million a year, your taxes remain the same. If you make $2 million a year, then that second million is taxed at an extra 2%, which is $20,000 extra dollars. $20,000 sounds a lot like a lot of money to you and me, but for somebody who makes $2 million, $5 million, $10 million a year, that ain't shit. It ain't shit. And if you want to have like she says, a vibrant city of people coming in and out of the city, not just shopping, but working and living here, you need to be able to afford them some housing and a living wage. That's the only way they're going to be able to do this. And, in a minute, he's going to ask about how do you build some housing? It's like, well, you build housing. You don't just build luxury condos with public-private partnerships where you have a front door for all your wealthy people and a back door for the poors to live in the basement where they get, anywhere between 5 and 10% of the building, the building space. That's where the poors can live. And then all the rich people get to go in the front door and the rest of it is for profit. That's not how it works, man.
up, just tax them more, they will leave.
No, the backup is make this city and make this country work for everyone. I get that the Republican point of view is make this country and make every city in this country work better and better for a handful of billionaires and let everybody else eat dirt. But what Mamdani won on in a Democratic primary is he said, I'm going to address affordability. And he didn't win by one vote.
No, he won by a lot. It's very much unclear he has the ability to actually do it, by the way, based on the laws and what...
Okay, so now it's not clear if he's going to be able to do it. Well, which is it, man? Why are you so afraid? Why are you twisting in the wind over this shit if you don't think he's not going to be able to do it anyway? It's obvious you think he's going to be able to do something. And that's what's got you so goddamn scared.
Governor has to say and what he would actually have to do.
You know, I love that as the fallback position, and that is he's fighting for the right thing, but maybe the billionaires will have a way
everybody
to
wants a more affordable city. There's no doubt about that. The question is how you
do have a doubt about that. The
build more
billionaires
housing.
Sure want to pay their part on this.
You build more housing. You do try to make it more affordable.
Yeah, that's just so easy. Just build more housing, man. Just build more housing. That's all you got to do, man. Just build more housing. Let's rely on the market to build housing. And yeah, man, there are buildings going up all over the city. That's all free market housing where the rents are through the fucking roof. You know, Mike Bloomberg said, New York City's not for everyone. I'm just saying, you know, just because you want to come here doesn't mean you deserve to be here. If you're not wealthy like me, maybe you should stay in Nebraska.
But it is a very difficult thing to do. You know that around the country. This is not an issue that just here in New York. It's everywhere.
But it's not an issue that Eric Adams was fighting for. It's certainly not an issue that Andrew Cuomo was fighting for.
I think the mayor would say they have been trying to focus on.
Oh, horse shit, man. Horse shit. Andrew Cuomo is talking about running the city like Mike Bloomberg did, who infamously allowed Russian oligarchs, Saudi oligarchs, Chinese oligarchs to come here and park their money in little tax shelters all over the city. The reason why half the city is not as bright lights big city as it used to be is because they are vacant apartments. They are tax shelters for the billionaire class to come in and buy up large swaths of apartment buildings, and thereby the landlords are like, oh my God, these are the best tenants I've ever had. They're never here. They never ask me for anything, and they pay over the market rate. God, we love this stuff. Maybe we're just going to have to raise the rates on everybody else who's actually living in the fucking building. And then the rents go up. God damn, man. And as far as Eric Adams, he couldn't find his ass from his fucking elbow. And that guy didn't do jack shit about housing. Not anything about housing. The only thing he did was clean out some homeless shelters.
Building as many new.
Mamdani is the one who said, I will make this a priority. And you know what he said? He said, I'm really going to lean in on childcare. I'm really going to lean in on housing. And I'm even going to try some new things to bring down the cost of groceries.
So it doesn't concern you that
I'm not going to sit around and pretend, oh, it's a federal problem. Let the federal government fix this.
You can say all these.
Look, this goes on for a while. It's a pretty decent interview. I suggest that you check it out, the rest of it. But, you know, Elizabeth Warren is not taking any of this guy's shit, and he's obviously shook. He's obviously shook. There are quite a few of our illustrious Democratic leaders in Congress and in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Cory Booker, all those types. All of them, they're ignoring Mamdani. They're pretending like he doesn't exist. And when they're asked about him, they're like, well, I'm waiting to talk to him. Honey, he's already been the Democratic nominee for over a month now, and you are avoiding him like the fucking plague. So, you know, let's not pretend. Speaking of Cory Booker, he was asked about that by CNN.
Are you going to support him?
I have learned a long time ago, let New York politics be New York politics. We got enough challenges in Jersey. I got a governor's race. I'm supporting Mikey Sherrill. I got legislative races. That's where my energy is going to go going into November. New York City.
Look at them eyebrows raised up. Please believe me. Please believe me. I'm lying my fucking ass off, but please believe me. And I'll tell you why he's lying. In 2009, he endorsed Mike Bloomberg. Mike Bloomberg was a Republican then, and he endorsed Mike Bloomberg. He endorsed Eric Adams in 2021. So don't give me this shit as I don't get involved in New York politics. Dude, you absolutely get involved in New York politics. You just don't want to get involved in this one, and you are lying your ass off over here. By the way, I just wanted to show you this. This has got nothing to do with the subject, but this one just really made me laugh. Cory Booker is really mad because he feels like he's not getting enough funding for the police force in New Jersey, which he is. he just decided to do a little grandstanding, and he said something really fucking stupid that just made me laugh.
Dear God, if you want to come at me that way, you're going to have to take it up with me.
You want to come at me like that, you're going to have to go through me. That's not how the saying goes, man. When it's like, if somebody is going after your friend or your relative, you'd be like, oh, you want to go after Susie? You're going to have to come through me first. And he's like, you're going to come at me like that. You're going to have to come at me like that. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Jesus Christ. Zohran put out a little video about him and Elizabeth getting together.
Disagrees with that, Senator, but raising taxes in order to do it?
Good. Oh dear, are you worried that billionaires are going to go hungry?
You know, I watched this race, read all the stories about Cuomo going in and bending the knee to the billionaires, right? Adams going in, bending the knee to the billionaires. And
I mean, it is absolutely true. And by the way, the reason why Eric Adams is running, he's got no chance to fucking win. But the reason why he's running is because he knows that if he's not running and he's not mayor, he is going to get those charges reinstated, those corruption charges, with him getting airline tickets and you know, cash advances and shit from the Turkish government. You know, what did he say? Istanbul is the New York of Turkey. But anyway, that's just beside the point.
nothing about you bending the knee to the billionaires. And I thought, billionaires aren't going to like that. My view is we're running out of time here. It is time to get universal childcare. It's why.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention this too. He mentioned about billionaires leaving the city. Billionaires, the only time the billionaires ever left the city was during COVID. 2020 and 2021, that was the largest migration of wealthy people moving out. And guess what? They moved back. The largest swath of people leaving the city are the working class and the middle class because they can't afford the rent here. Anyway, they look pretty happy together. Let's see here. Let's include a little of this. I mentioned earlier about de Blasio getting universal pre-K in New York City, which is a resounding success, and it's doing very well, and everybody's really happy with it. Well, Cuomo fought him tooth and fucking nail on this. He fought him every step of the way, but he pushed through. De Blasio pushed through and managed to get it done, and it's working and it's doing great. Well, he's on the Brian Lear show, and he is asked about it, and I think that this is actually pretty good, and it's got a little curb your enthusiasm little punchline at the end of it, so check it out.
Mayor de Blasio, he said here recently, supporting Mamdani, that few people believed he could get universal pre-K enacted, too pie in the sky, but he did.
No, he didn't. The state did it.
No, it didn't. The Intelligencer. The largest challenge was the funding, which would have been approved by Governor Andrew Cuomo, a mentor to de Blasio, who would go on to become his nemesis and tormentor. Cuomo's promise and failure to fully fund public education follows the same pattern as his rollout of universal full-day pre-K in New York State, paying lip service to the principles while working behind the closed door of the budget process to block any meaningful progress. And the Gotham Gazette says Governor Andrew Cuomo has tried to defuse the de Blasio efforts by proposing his own universal pre-K, but de Blasio and his allies say the plan fails to provide enough dedicated funding to sustain a statewide pre-K program. So old Cuomo, who was doing everything he can to do an impression of Mike Bloomberg, is lying his ass off, and I think it's pretty damn funny. Now, there is this is just a cute little this is another. Sorry, this is Kevin O'Leary, Canadian, mega wealthy dude from Shark Tank. He is on Fox Business and he's squealing about the Elizabeth Warren, Zohran Mamdani, team up, and he's going to explain why everything that Zohran Mamdani wants is impossible, it's pie in the sky, and it's communism.
One stands up and says, I will lead this city by making it more affordable. And here are my plans, real plans, plans to deliver on childcare, plans to deliver on housing, plans to deliver. We're going to experiment. We're going to try things on groceries. That is the Democratic message.
I watched this lunatic, Pocahontas. She's a total lunatic. I don't know what she's on. She's all jumping up and down like I've never seen anything like it.
Jumping up
talking
and down.
about supporting the communist mayor. And he's not a socialist. He's a communist. Okay, this is...
Look, Donald Trump, you do not know jack from shit. You throw Maoist, communist, socialist, Marxist, lunatic all the fucking time. I would love for you to give me a definition, the difference between socialism and communism. You have absolutely no idea what any of those definitions are. I'd love to hear your explanation on fucking capitalism, because I'm sure that would be a bunch of happy horse shit too.
A socialist, man. This is a communist. If you look at any of his policies and go back 6 months, you don't even have to go back further than that. So they want to put a communist in New York. Now, the good news is we have a lot of power over that because we're the ones with the money. We send the money. We don't send the money.
Okay. New York City and New York State provides more federal dollars than I'd say probably 6 red states combined. Donald Trump is always talking about going after California and New York, and he's got a big grudge against them. But the amount of federal tax dollars that come out of those states into federal coffers beats the shit out of pretty much every Midwest red state. This is no shot at Midwest red states. It's just that they don't have the population or the money to pay federal taxes. They just aren't making that money that they're making in California and New York. So, shit on us all you like, man, but where do you think you get most of your federal dollars from? Just saying.
First, far-left Senator Elizabeth Warren complaining New York is unaffordable when Democrats...
It is unaffordable, honey. It is. We don't get, a $500,000, $1 million salary from Fox Business. We're all working class people, man. I don't know who the hell you think you are. They're saying it's not affordable. Oh my God, I have no problem owning my brownstone. Fuck off.
Run New York for 40 years, plus off and on since FDR in the 1930s, the entire state. And just moments ago, President Trump calling...
It's not been run by people from the left, okay? It just hasn't. It's been run by big money interests, going back all the way to fucking Tammany Hall, man. Big money, bullshit, corruption. I mean, I just told you, Mike Bloomberg was mayor for 12 years. He is nobody's Democrat. Even when he was running as a Democrat, he was all about the wealthy. He came into office with a couple of $1 billion with his Bloomberg program. He left office, he had over $40 billion. He is nobody's leftist. He's nobody's liberal. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Elizabeth Warren, a total lunatic for supporting communist Zohran Mamdani.
He's a communist.
O'Leary Ventures Chair, Kevin O'Leary.
Kevin O'Leary, not from America. Why don't you go back to Canada where you belong?
Wonderful. What's your reaction to this? It's great to see you again.
Thank you. Let me preface my comments by saying I'm a Boston guy. My kids were born and grew up there. One of them's still in school there. I have a home.
You're not a Boston guy. You're from fucking Canada. Stop lying.
But like all my neighbors, we all live in Florida now because of Elizabeth Warren. I applaud her.
Elizabeth Warren didn't have anything to do with that shit, honey. You wanted to move down to Florida because you wanted to get closer to the God King and Mar-a-Lago. Stop fronting. You standing in the lobby of the Howard Johnsons with a red carnation.
Outrageous things, and she raises lots of money behind that. She's a marketer. But this comment she's making about affordability in New York, she's full of poo-poo on that. The reason
he got dirty on Fox Business. She's full of poo-poo. What is she full of shit on? Come on, Kev. Tell us, man. New York is extremely affordable? Really? I don't even want to tell you what my rent is in my tiny little shoebox of an apartment.
Don't have affordability in New York is because of policy. It has been mismanaged now for decades. And so if you're a developer like I am, I would love to invest in affordable housing in New York. I need a permit. You can't put rent control on it, or I can't get a return for investors.
See, it's all about the ROI. It's all about the market rate. It's not got anything to do with affordable housing or public housing. It's got to do with, I would love to build a building, but I've got to build buildings for wealthy people, or else, my investors are going to back out. How about we just handle it through the government? Just saying, Look, we have a housing crisis, not just in New York City, but across the country. There are homeless people living under fucking bridges, man. We could put them in a home. Bitch and complain all you want about crime. By the way, crime has precipitously been going down for decades. It had a little spike during COVID, and it's on its way back down. Even the most crime-ridden places are literally lower crime rate than they have ever been. But we never talk about the reason why we have crime. It's generally due to the fact that people don't have money, poverty. They don't have housing. And yet again, another thing. Homeless people, maybe you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, there's so many homeless. There's just so much crime. You know who gets robbed more than anybody in New York City? Homeless people. Because they have no backup. They have no protection. They're just, left alone to their devices, and they are preyed upon because they are weak and vulnerable. The people that get robbed and beat up and harassed and hurt the most are homeless people, because they've got nobody to protect them. And it sure as shit ain't going to be fucking Kevin O'Leary or Donald fucking Trump.
What happens is the capital just goes somewhere else. What he's proposing, particularly on rent control, and I don't know yet because I haven't met with him yet.
It is on rent control on public housing. He's not talking about putting rent control on luxury housing. He doesn't have anything to do with that. That is privately owned. He can't do anything about it. The one thing he can do is put a limit on the amount of a raise that you can have per year. De Blasio did that, saved me some bucks, and I really appreciated that. He said that you could only raise the rent, I believe it was like 2%, or it might have been 2% or 3% for 1 year lease, and a 3 to 5% increase for a 2-year lease. Soon as de Blasio left office and Eric Adams took over, the average rent went up 7.5%. Some people are paying as much as 9 and 10% more than they were just a few years ago. So being able to do something like that, putting a cap on the amount that private landlords can raise their rent, is beneficial to people that live in the city. This guy doesn't seem to give a hoot or a holler about it because he probably owns his property. I think he's worth like $400 million from his Shark Tank horseshit.
Trying to get a meeting on a new building, on a new development, on new capital coming in. Is he going to put rent control on that? There won't be any capital. Nobody's going to invest in that. They'll just go to Tennessee. They'll go to Texas. They'll go to Florida.
Yeah, man, I'm sure that all of the well-to-do, cosmopolitan, millionaire and billionaire types that live in New York City are just going to move to Memphis. They're going to move to Dallas. They're going to move to Florida. Horse shit, man. Let them go down there. Let them go down there and go, oh my God, this place sucks. I am bored out of my mind. I can't go downstairs and sit at a coffee shop and just be fabulous. I can't go to my my favorite Morton Steakhouse anymore. I can't go to, I can't go to the Met anymore or the Guggenheim anymore. That's where the culture is. What am I going to go, to the, I'm going to go to Joe's Crab Shack, or I'm going to go to, whatever Omaha, cultural center in Nebraska? Give me a break, man. Excuse me. Anyway, there is, I wanted to get to this. This is kind of tangential, but I had this. I did a video on people trying to do the Zohran thing, just the aesthetic of Zohran as opposed to the policy. The reason why people voted for Zohran is because he has good policy. But for some reason, centrist Democrats are out there going, no, he was just really good on TikTok. He was just really good on the social media. He's cool and he's hip and he's fun, and that's why people voted for him. Honey, they voted for him because he has good policy, and he seems to give a shit about working class. Whether he gets anything done or not, at least he's fighting for the right thing, as opposed to literally out front-facing, being like, yeah, man, we're just going to lower the taxes on wealthy people and let everybody else go fuck themselves. I mean, that's the Cuomo mentality. If you're poor, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't live here, just like Mike Bloomberg said. But there's this dude here. What's his name? Liam Elkin. And he is desperately trying to be Zohran Mamdani. He's got the whole walking down the street thing, talking to the camera, looking all cool. And he's trying to unseat Jerry Nadler. Now, Jerry Nadler is a longtime congressman. He's an old dude. And we do have a problem with some geriatric types in Congress. And it is very true. We have lost like 3 or 4 of them this year due to them dying. And that's not good. And that's including Jerry Connolly. Different story how, him and Nancy Pelosi kind of screwed AOC out of the Senate Oversight Committee. I mean, the House Oversight Committee, but that's another story. But he is trying to unseat Jerry Nadler. And Jerry Nadler, as far as Democratic Congress people go, he's not that bad. He might be an older gentleman, but he was at least on the right side of when the conversation popped up about being Jewish or being a Zionist. He's like, those are 2 different things. Not all Jewish people are Zionists. You cannot combine those 2 things. And that was the argument that we're saying, if you are anti-Zionist, then that means you're anti-Semitic. And he's like, no, man, Zionism is an ethnic distinction. It's got nothing to do with Judaism. So stop trying to put those 2 things together. And Jerry Nadler was very good on that. Well, this guy right here, he's a 26-year-old entrepreneur who made a shitload of money selling some horse shit. And, it's like, yeah, I test market positive thinking. I sell couch insurance. I am a pet psychiatrist. I don't know what the fuck this guy is, but he is an entrepreneur, which means he's a horseshit salesman. And here he is doing his best Zohran Mamdani.
Is dying. We're losing votes.
The last 8 members of Congress who have died, all of them are Democrats.
The suffocating gerontocracy.
Older incumbents should step aside.
Losing elections.
Why are Republicans doing a better job of electing young leaders?
Losing our democracy.
Democrats are not taking.
He's not wrong about that. One of the biggest issues with the Democratic Party, it's all about, seniority, and it's my turn. It's like, I've been waiting in line for this for such a long time. It is my turn. Doesn't mean that I'm going to be effective at the job. It just means that I've been here for a long time and it's my turn. That was that thing I was just saying about Jerry Connolly, how he ended up getting House Oversight Committee over AOC, who it looked like she was going to get it. And then from a hospital bed, from a skiing trip that Nancy Pelosi was on, she called all of the House Democrats and tried her damnedest to sway them to vote for Jerry Connolly over AOC. And she stabbed AOC in the back. And then Jerry Connolly took the position with throat cancer, quit a few months later, and died all within this year. So, there is a problem. And we're sitting here, looking at another one here that was, oh my God, she was kind of responsible for hugging it out with Lindsey Graham and getting Amy Coney Barrett on the Supreme Court back in 2020. So, yeah, there is a problem with the old folk. But his idea is, I'm not going to do anything different. I'm just going to be exactly the same as a Democrat, except, as a centrist Democrat, except I'm just going to be young. Look at me. I'm young and vibrant. I'm 26 years old. I'm an entrepreneur. I've made millions of dollars. Test marketing, positive thinking. Vote for me, man. I'm cool. I'm hip. I'm not some old, crotchety old Democrat. I am a new centrist milquetoast Democrat. Vote for me.
Issue seriously, but they need to.
And the leaders who got us here are refusing to retire, with devastating consequences.
Roe versus Wade is overruled.
In the last 5 months, 3 House Democrats passed away, allowing Trump's billionaire bill gutting health care and food stamps for millions of people to go through by 1 vote.
The motion is adopted.
The same people are using the same old tactics, but they're losing. They're telling us to give them 10 more years in office, even as they say,
I'm not sure there's much we can do about it. We will have to wait.
Do I want to get rid of some of these old codgers? Absolutely. Do I want to replace them with a young entrepreneur who wants to do exactly the same policy, just be young? Fuck no, I don't. I want good policy. I want Zohran Mamdani types. I want AOC types with good policy. We don't need a replacement just, 50 years younger. That means you're going to be in office for the next 40, 50 years doing exactly the same shit and nothing will fucking change.
really? I'm Liam Elkind. I'm a community organizer, Rhodes Scholar, and nonprofit CEO.
Oh, there we go. There it is. I'm a nonprofit CEO. Doesn't mean that he's not making any profit off of it. It's just nonprofit in the way it comes with taxes. But I'm a CEO, man. That's what the Democrats are missing. Honestly, they just need more Republican CEO types with a Democratic name badge. That's what we need in America. More entrepreneurial Democrats.
And raised in New York City and went to public school here. And when COVID hit, I didn't wait. I put my phone number on a flyer and started delivering food to seniors and others in need.
Invisible Hand CEO Liam Elkind.
Over 10,000 volunteers
to shop for the city's most vulnerable.
And he got huge donations for his little virtue signal, and he made fucking bank because it's a nonprofit and it was all about the big old donos. And he went on all of these milquetoasty, centristy, CNN, MSNBCs, and they're like, oh my God, he's young and vibrant, and he's an entrepreneur and he makes money, and isn't he cool?
More than 20,000 deliveries in New York City alone.
Soon, thousands of volunteers stepped up to join me, delivering food to tens of thousands.
Ain't no way that anybody during COVID was hugging and kissing the delivery driver. This is all performative bullshit.
People.
Liam helped thousands of seniors just like me.
Oh, he's a young man. Come over and sit on my couch. Oh, right, Big Daddy.
You called the government hotline and asked for help getting food? They said to call me. But people's lives shouldn't depend on one person picking up his phone. Our leaders need to answer the call now.
All right. Anyway, but this is what I really wanted to show you. That's a real ad, okay? An entrepreneurial ad. Yeah, but Zateo put this out. This is pretty much just like a perfect troll of that kid, Liam Elkind, what he is doing. And this guy right here is a comedian and an actor who, that Mehdi Hassan of Zateo got to do this little thing, or, he just kind of shared this, but this is choice.
Zohran Mamdani just broke primary records in New York, but not because of his radical plan to make the city more affordable, but because of TikTok, hand jewelry, and snappy editing. So we're bringing you that very hip, very cool campaign, but with the same poll-tested, market-friendly, centrist ideas that help maintain the status quo. People say the rent is too darn high. I hear that. I feel that. But we can't freeze the rent. That's irresponsible. But we can incentivize landlords to delay rent increases for select tenants who meet narrow income thresholds. We need to develop more, build more, and cut all the red tape that's slowing us down. That's why I co-sponsored the Affordable Market Solutions Act, a bold bill that directs public subsidies to private developers to build a limited supply of affordable housing over the next 7 to 10 years. And that's just a taste. Oh, this is messy. Too many of our neighbors are being left behind by unreliable buses and trains. That's why we're going to launch a pilot program to create transit advisory panels. And the beautiful part, we don't have to pay for any of it, because there's nothing to pay for. Because ultimately, it doesn't take big structural change to get the abundance we deserve. It just takes a big tent. That means respecting our hardworking, job-creating billionaires and making sure they feel just as welcome in our city as you and I. Please don't leave. We don't need socialism. We need public-private partnerships. This campaign is not left. This campaign is not right. It's something different.
Paid for by more of the same pack, Moms for Centrism, and the Definitely Not Evil Foundation.
Oh my God, man. That is just, mwah. That is chef's fucking kiss. Seriously. That is literally what this new guard of young and upcoming entrepreneurial spirit having centrist Dems are doing. You know, they are here to basically do the same thing that Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Hakeem Jeffries do, but just in a young package. And they could bounce around and look all young and cool, but yet do the same thing. Service the billionaire class. Give them massages, and grease down in a fucking shiatsu to all the wealthy people. And the poors, we'll just make a nice little promise to you. I promise you, we will start a panel to consider building housing in the next 7 to 10 years when I'm out of office and won't do anything about it. But I can get you to vote for me now because I'm promising it later. Okay? Anyway, so I'm glad to see that Elizabeth Warren is endorsing and stepping up to support a new, young, actual progressive with good progressive policies who is standing on business as opposed to, you know, trying to get serviced by business. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.